Hi, I'm Terri Murphy from the Women's Wisdom Network, here for the senior editor as Realty Times Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, and in the men's room with Murph. And every once in a while, you get just spectacular talent and vision and execution in the same interview. And that's what we have here today with Mr. Austin Allison. He is the co-founder and CEO of Pacaso. I want you to learn about that just coming up. But there's so much this man has done. We don't have enough time, but I will highlight it. I want to welcome him. Say hello, Austin.
Thank you, Terri. Hello, it's great to be here.
You have such a rich background and you're not that old in real estate. I mean, starting selling at 18 for over 10 years. We've all heard of that little thing called Zillow, which you had something to do with. Started with Dotloop, one of the first online transaction management platforms. You seem to have done so much in such a concentrated time. But the one thing that really impressed me was your core values, and which is, you said how you started Dotloop. Would you just tell us a little bit about what that thought process was and how it's just carried you through to successes beyond most people's expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to answer that question through the lens of my own personal core values, because how they manifest themselves in organizations differs from company to company a bit. But at my core, I really believe that everyone should follow their passion, whatever it is that you're passionate about, whether it's skiing or mountain biking or real estate. I've found in life that if you just follow that passion, really great things come from that. So in organizations that I've been part of, the way that manifests itself in the way of a core value is around mission orientation. So at Pacaso, we describe it as maintaining and embracing an infinite mindset, which is really about following your passion and being very long-term oriented to that end. So that's certainly a core value. I would say another core value that has really influenced my life and the companies that I've been a part of is the importance of people. Surrounding yourself with great people. Nobody succeeds alone. And this is true in life and in business. And I think if there's, one thing that I can attribute to kind of my professional career, it's the opportunity to be surrounded by great people very early in life. And I try to embrace that and surround, myself and organizations that I'm a part of with great people.
Well, you've done that extremely well. And I think it speaks to someone who understands that collectively, all of us are bigger and better than one of us. But one of the things you talked about was Pacaso. Now, I just chastised you for not doing it about 10 years earlier. But tell us what that is and what a revolutionary opportunity it is, especially in the time we have today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pacaso is a service that empowers people, families, to co-own second homes together. And this is a concept that's been around for a long time, meaning people have been owning houses together for a long time. Pacaso didn't invent that. But what we're doing that's a bit unique is we're providing a service that enables co-ownership in a more hassle-free way. So all the details from bill pay to maintenance to aggregating the other co-owners, we handle that as a service, kind of like a property manager, if you will, for the ownership group. And the benefit to the owners is that it makes it really easy for people to right-size their ownership, as opposed to buying 100% of a home that you may only use 10 or 15% of the time. Co-ownership empowers people to buy 10 or 15% of a home, which is more in line with what they plan to actually use.
That makes such good sense. I think there's some misconceptions that we all have to overcome, and that is, so what if everybody wants the house at Christmas? I mean, if they even if I know it goes into eighths, you could have 1/8 ownership, and I know that you have a beautifully rather elaborate algorithm that you use to determine that. Can you share that with us? I mean, that would be my first thought. Well, I want to be there at Thanksgiving. Well, you have to be there at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's a great question, Terri, and it's one that we get often. We've created a software solution that we call Smart Stay, and it solves this problem for the owners. And from the owner's perspective, the way that it works is everybody has an owner app, just like any other app on your smartphone. And within the app, you can block time in your home, in your calendar. On the back end, the Smart Stay technology has a series of rules and algorithms that distribute those requests fairly amongst the ownership group. So no one owner is going to be able to dominate all the best holidays, for example. Instead, what Smart Stay technology does is it distributes the time throughout all of the other owners across the entire year. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to end up getting a little bit of all times throughout the year. You're going to get some holiday time, some peak season time, some non-peak season time, and it's very fair and equitable. The other thing to note, though, is that given that co-ownership really empowers a broader audience of people to realize this dream of second home ownership, it ends up attracting a more diverse and dynamic group of owners, meaning all of the owners of these homes aren't interested in the same things. Some owners may be interested in summer time. Other owners may be interested in winter time. We also have some owners that actually prefer the shoulder seasons over the peak seasons. So the more diversity you have in the ownership group, the less inherent overlap there is in the scheduling requests to start with. But in any event, Smart Stay makes it really easy for people to get, most of what they want out of the calendar, but for a real reduction in cost due to the co-ownership model.
That is so brilliant, because many of, especially with the recent COVID incarceration, people have learned that they don't have to live near their jobs. They can leave and still work remotely, which serves, that's just a beautiful opportunity for people. And I know that it speaks to, that whole process speaks to the diversified maximization of an otherwise static asset, said well by JVs. And so what a brilliant opportunity. Now, if I were interested in this, my concern would be, well, how do I manage keys and insurance and cleaning and all personal property? Is there any personal property? Can you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we handle all of the details associated with managing the home. So it starts with furnishing the home. Every Pacaso home is professionally interior designed and furnished to the liking of the owners. It also consists of maintaining the home and paying the bills. So every month when that insurance payment is due, or every quarter when that tax payment is due, those are all things that Pacaso is handling on behalf of the owners. So as an owner, you just show up and enjoy your home and experience what we at Pacaso describe as an enriched life. Make those memories with your friends or your family or your kids. And let us deal with all the hassle associated with maintaining the home. The other thing that we facilitate is we facilitate a service whereby owners are able to keep their stuff at their home. And we do that through owner's closets. So every owner in a Pacaso managed home is able to keep their stuff in their own closet. So when they show up, all their stuff is there and ready to go. It might be your clothes, it might be, your skis or snowboard in a mountain town, but it really makes it easy for you to enjoy your home when you show up, as opposed to having to lug luggage back and forth each time.
Oh, that alone would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So are there misconceptions that the real estate agent has about Pacaso? Because clearly our audience is a lot of realtors, and I know you have a referral program, but tell us a little bit more about that part of the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't say there's misconceptions within the real estate agent community, but there's certainly, opportunity for us to educate the industry and our partners on how the model works, because this service is fairly new, as I mentioned, and the way that we partner with the real estate industry is also kind of new. So we work with real estate agents on every transaction, on the buy side and the list side. And the way that it works is pretty analogous to the way that you sell a whole home, in the sense that you get paid a full commission. And the other thing that we do is we recently announced a referral equity program, where for every buyer that you bring that becomes a co-owner through Pacaso, in addition to the 3% commission, you're also going to earn 500 shares of stock in our company. So, it's a small token of our appreciation for the partnership on top of the commission, so that you can participate in our journey as well as we grow our business. The things that I would say have really been resonating with our real estate agent partners is, first and foremost, they really like that this is additive to their core business, meaning it doesn't take away business from your whole home pipeline. In fact, it generally creates more opportunity for your whole home pipeline while providing a tool to convert more of your prospects into homeowners, because almost every real estate agent out there has a database of prospects, some of which in that database have budget to buy a home, but not enough budget to buy the home that they want.
Exactly.
So, you know, in really expensive markets, like many of the ones that we operate in, you know, it's hard to afford a primary home. It's very hard to afford a secondary home. So Pacaso really enables you to up-level your spending power and buy into a luxury home instead. Instead of spending, say, $500,000 on a median priced home in the market, you can buy a portion of a $4 million home instead with Pacaso. So it's really good for the buyers. It's really good for the real estate agents, and it's really good for the community. But the one last thing that I'll say about our real estate agent partnerships is we know agents are very busy. You know, I was a real estate agent. We haven't talked about that, but I've been a real estate agent my whole life, as long as I was of legal age.
18 years old.
Exactly. And we know agents are busy, so we try to make it as easy as possible. We try to make it as easy as generating a referral, where you basically introduce your clients to Pacaso. We handle all the heavy lifting, and you get paid and deliver on your clients' dream of becoming a second homeowner.
Well, as having been licensed forever, I can also tell you that, especially today, I mean, homes.com just released a survey saying that 72% of the sellers would buy somewhere if they had confidence about what their home was worth and where they would go. They also, this is a great opportunity for the realtor to contact the people that have a certain level of equity and saying, instead of having debt equity, you could be investing in your forever home, or a portion. And you just got to know, I think you brought up something that was really brilliant, Austin, and that was, so just because I want to be in Park City as a skier in the winter doesn't necessarily mean I want to be there in the summer. But there are people just the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So really a brilliant platform. So tell us, what's the future for Pacaso in your vision? Because you've certainly been a visionary for our industry.
Yeah, the future of Pacaso is really about enriching more lives. It's about empowering more families to realize their dream of second home ownership. And this is a vision that I've had for a really long time. My dad was a carpenter, so I was around real estate when I was very young. Started selling when I was 18, as you know. And my wife and I, who was my high school sweetheart, by the way, we met when I was 16 years old, and we've been married ever since. So, my wife and I, like many families, we dreamed of owning a second home, but we didn't have the financial means at the time to really pull it off. And we stretched and we struggled, and we kind of took the leap of faith and maxed out, our mortgage and our savings to buy this second home in Lake Tahoe. And we also had to rent the home out to make the math work on the mortgage side of things. So, but what it did is it unlocked a dream for us. We were able to realize this dream that we had been thinking about for a long time. And, having experienced that firsthand and realizing just how hard it is for people to buy, primary or secondary homes. Like I've always been passionate about empowering more people to realize the dream of home ownership, both at the primary level, but also now with Pacaso at the secondary level, because it's life enriching. So long-term, that's what we're focused on. We're focused on helping more people achieve that dream, but doing it in such a way that, we help communities, that we help our real estate agent partners, and ultimately that we just, contribute in a small way to making the world a better place.
Well, you obviously have done great things, not just your book and not just Dotloop and not just what you did with Zillow, but you got an award recently that was the fastest U.S. company to receive $1 billion unicorn valuation. This tells me that Pacaso has bigger and better things, and you've done the kind of thing that consumer demands require. You've eliminated the stress, you've made it convenient, it's seamless. I'm sure that on the legal side, which we won't get into here, that there's all of that's been worked out, knowing that you've got some background in that. What's the best way for agents to help get people to understand or present the Pacaso platform? I recently did an interview with one of your people, and she was phenomenal about that, but it was way back in December. And since you just started this a little while ago, tell us what's happened since then. What's the best way to sound the Pacaso information?
Yeah, so the best way for agents to reach us is just through our website. So at pacaso.com, which is pacaso.com, there's an agent tab, and all the information you might need would be on there. But you can also submit to join us as a partner, and we'll share, in response to that submission, we'll share marketing information and materials that you can use to market to your database and answer any questions that you may have. So that's definitely, you know, the place to start. And in terms of like the broader opportunity here that you alluded to, Terri, I think, I mean, what we're experiencing as a company and as an industry, I mean, this is way bigger than Pacaso. We're just, you know, one company that's contributed in a small way to this movement. But the pandemic has really created a lot of flexibility for many families. You know, many families now have more flexibility or freedom to work remote, either permanently or semi-permanently. And what that has enabled is it has enabled just a kind of a flurry of activity and reshuffling, if you will, around the way that people are thinking about work and home. And many people are now interested in buying a second home or interested in living in a second home market. So it's becoming not only is the time sort of better than ever as a real estate professional to be able to empower and serve clients in this way by helping them to realize their dream. But we're also at a point in time where the housing market is just crazy. I mean, prices are through the nose, inventory levels are very low, demand is very high, and it's becoming very hard for people to be able to afford homes, primary or secondary. So I think we as a real estate industry collectively, I think, have a responsibility and an opportunity here to be part of the solution. You know, we have to look for new and creative ways, for example, to make better use of existing housing stock. And one of the worst uses of existing housing stock, particularly in second home communities, is empty homes. Every time a home is sitting empty, it's driving up home prices at the affordable pricing tier because it's taking inventory off the market. It's also bad for the local economies. It's bad for the environment. So we're looking to contribute to the solution, making better use of existing housing stock. And again, doing it in such a way that we, with our real estate agent partners, can help a lot more people become homeowners.
I don't think anybody could have said that even any better. I would say, as a licensed realtor for forever, we won't go for how long, that with the rise in property values, which is universal. I mean, in some places, most people don't even understand their property could have doubled in the last 5 years, that they could take that equity and start the process of their forever home. And so I really think your timing is obviously brilliant. And so is the opportunity, because you've taken the hard part out. And so I would say, please go to Pacaso, Pacaso.com, get the information. I would recommend every realtor use this as a differentiator, basically as a value proposition for things that people don't know. And I want to thank you for all of your contributions to the real estate industry. You know, under All is the Land, you know, my family enjoys the home ownership, and it's one of the most wonderful and safe things you can do. And I think you've taken the safeness out of owning a property with somebody else and made it so easy. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you for all your contributions, and I want to thank your staff for putting us together. For more information, just go to Pacaso.com. Thank you so much for joining us today for this interview with Austin Allison. I'm Terri Murphy for the Women's Wisdom Network. Join us again. We've got more coming.